I'm Jenny-Jaymes and my sidekick, Christian Cano, partner in crime, is coming up next.
Hey everyone, I'm Jim's sidekick. Welcome to Two Queers in a Truck. Hi y'all.
See you soon. Good morning, everybody. It is Two Queers in a Truck time, the December 18th edition, 2024.
Wow.
Almost
Yeehaw.
Christian.
That's right.
Jenny, living our best rainbow lives. But anyway, we are back as usual, and it is Wednesday time, hump day, so to speak. And I don't know, this year, but even this month is blinked and we've missed it. And December 18th is kind of a wild concept because next week is the big annoying holiday, and then the next one in the year, it's like bam, bam, thank you, ma'am. We're out of here. But we'll go right into our first topic, and I'm going to steal a topic. I normally don't talk about what we talk about off the air, but it was timely to the show. Is Christian and I have friends all over the country, and Christian, currently travels the country, and we got family in different places. And we were talking about how different people talk or behave that live in basically fascist states like Texas, and how downtrodden and just apathetic they've become. Because a couple generations ago, when Christian and I were very, very young, it wasn't always that way. Yeah. And how bizarre that is, and how I just noticed it online, how my California queer friends and West Coast queer friends talk versus my friends that live in Florida and especially Texas right now, or Oklahoma, where you just see a relative sadness. It's hard to describe, but you described it really well. It's like they've given up.
Yeah.
And not just queer people, but people in general. It's like the fear, the love, and the anger is left, and all that left is just apathy.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just gonna float off to existential dread, and and I get it. I guess you can only take abuse so long before you just give up, which explains the Texas voting numbers that in the last big gubernatorial election, I know I didn't pronounce that right, but we had 9 million registered Texans vote, and we had 11 million eligible Texans that sat it out. Didn't vote for either party. They didn't vote for shit.
Mm-hmm.
That's sad. Especially a sad that has the rumor of the Alamo and the Davy Crockett and all this intense history. Ma Richards and just Lyndon Johnson, and just this legacy of fiery discourse, but not hate, but just a love of Texas, and proud of it because of the people that are there, not necessarily, anything in particular, but there was a certain amount of pride, but there was a certain amount of friendliness, a howdy kind of spirit, howdy y'all, that big Texan joie de vivre, that excitement that you had, that just seems fucking gone. And that's why I say it's my birth state now, not my home state, for a lot of reasons. I feel like all these Texans that were, I'd stand up to whatever, they either moved away or they're hiding in their trailers. And it breaks my heart. I don't know how you feel about it, Christian.
No, I completely agree with you. As you're talking, it kind of reminds me, and I know this is kind of hard to for people to explain this, because you don't think It's almost like a bizarre third world country in a way, where I mean, you literally have more of the religious kind of people who rule the country.
Mhm.
And the reason that the, like, I would say the so-called middle class or the working bees tolerate that is because they have the basics. You know what I mean? They have access to it's not very expensive land. They can eat. You cannot have you cannot go to college and get a job at that plays kind of a, in their mind, a decent wage, even though it's lower than normal. For them, it's decent because cost of living is a little bit low. So they think everything is fine. I don't want to rock the boat, because there's nowhere in the country that you cannot go to college and maybe work for Lockheed Martin, or or Bell Helicopter, or those kind of, those kind of manufacturing kind of jobs, or Toyota, those kind of things. And they don't understand that they could actually have more if they voted for things that were for working class people. But it's almost like they're saying, they've given me the opportunity to be okay. I have a lot of family members that didn't go to college, that all own houses. So in their mind, this is okay. Well, and of course, they probably could not afford to own a house outside of Texas because of the expense of land and real estate and so forth. But it's, I don't know, it's just bizarre, kind of like you said. I'm it's okay. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Well, they're existing, and also too, you got
Yes.
to remember a lot of those relatives are older, so
Yes.
they
Good point.
bought homes before the skyrocketing of housing prices. Because even in Texas, houses are
Sure.
starting to get really expensive. What
Yeah.
you could buy 30 years ago, say
Hmm.
we have, our aunts and uncles, for example, that are now in their 70s and 80s. Well, they
Yeah.
bought a house in 1985. When you
Sure.
in Lubbock, Texas, you could buy a house right next to a country club, like my parents did, almost
Yeah.
2,000 square feet for $77,000.
That's incredible.
And that could be the down payment on most houses now.
Yeah.
Um, but that same house,
Hmm.
every with a pitched roof, and it was a beautiful house. We ended up putting
Hmm.
a pool in the back. Um, that same house, I guarantee you, would be in Charlotte would be $600,000
Yeah.
easily if it was brand
That's,
new, same type
yeah.
of neighborhood. South
Hmm.
Ray Road. In any kind of zip code around there is going to
Yeah.
be every bit of six. It would be a $600,000 house, and that our house. I was almost in high school when we bought that. It's $77,000. That means the late '80s, mid to late
Hmm.
'80s. I'm dating myself here. We'll say mid to late '90s.
Exactly. Yeah.
Anyway, but
Sometime
but
back
now
then.
but now if you transport that house to Charlotte, and Charlotte's not really that much more expensive than the big
Yeah.
cities of Texas.
Yeah, that's true.
The reality is that
Hmm.
the big cities of Texas have climbed way up in prices. All
Yeah.
my friends talk about it.
Hmm.
Texas is not the value that we thought it was, because I think we're in a time warp. And for us expatriated Texans,
Hmm.
I think we don't see how bad it is unless we go back. I haven't gone back in 6 years for
Yeah.
a reason. I don't. There's nothing left for me, and
Hmm.
I know you go back because of
Yeah.
family and stuff, and
Hmm.
it's kind of a holiday tradition for you. But
Hmm.
I know that neither one of us have a desire to live back there. It doesn't
Mm.
it doesn't feel like home. I don't
Yeah.
recognize that. It is very, very. It's kind of sad. I
Hmm.
won't lie. There's a part of me that goes, I feel like I've been cheated.
Yeah.
I felt like I've cheated in my narrative. I always knew I would live around
Hmm.
the country. In my mind's eye, I always thought, well, I'll end up in some part of tropical Texas at the end of the day. But
Yeah.
my main home will be there. And now I can't conceive of that day. I don't think
Yeah.
I'll live long enough to see that day. And I don't think. And of course, we said that right before Obama, and we elected Obama, and
Yeah.
quite a bit in 8 years.
Yeah.
So
Who
we
knows? You
we
know
we
what?
could we could elect,
We
Governor
could.
Newsom and Pete Buttigieg in this next cycle in
Mhm.
2028, and all will be right, and
That's
and
right.
and and we'll unleash the white liberals onto the world at the same time,
Yeah.
and get some things done in the first 4
Hmm.
years. I know that every time you have a fascist push and they have a little bit of success like they had in this last election, there's going to
Hmm.
be a hard progressive pushback.
Exactly.
It's going to swing
Yeah.
back because the 8 years of George W. Bush and the absolute failure that was the presidency
Hmm.
then made Obama. Obama
Yeah.
could have never gotten elected in a normal year,
Yeah.
just because of how racist this country is. But shoot, by 2008, we were in pretty desperate times. We were neck
You
deep
know,
in wars and
hey
broke.
Jen, I was going to add something. I'm sorry to keep interrupting you, but we haven't talked to each other in a week.
Yeah, I know.
But you're right. They've had 30 years of Republican rule, probably about 10 years of kind of evangelical Christian rule in Texas, which is why I call it, or we call it West Afghanistan. They blame Democratic presidents for open borders, for, even though all of their economy, everything has been because of Republican rule. Schools, bad schools, everything. Now that they have Trump, there's a trifecta. They can't blame anybody else when they're still having traffic. The number one thing people were talking about when I was there was how crazy the traffic is and how many people live there. That's something you hear in New York. Okay. This has happened in Texas, in the Dallas Fort Worth area, how crazy it is. You can't get anywhere. And so when they find out a year and 2 years from now that has not changed, now that Trump, they're going to start getting mad because they're like, okay, I thought things were going to change, you know? And so I thought you were going to, deport all of these Hispanic people. Well, all of Texas is like 70% Hispanic people, So
Who would be left?
exactly.
And the wild thing is when they talk about deporting 15 people, when
Yeah.
the logistically it's not even possible. There's
Yeah.
not even you would have to. So here would be the dichotomy: if you're going to spend
Yeah.
all that time trying to deport people, it's going to trigger a few things. For one, it's going to wreck the economy, which
Exactly.
also makes violent crime go up.
Yep.
Um, what you're going to see is, and this is why the end of Trump and the beginning of Biden, we saw so many spikes in crimes, especially drug overdoses and things like this, is because by the time we got to the end of 2020, it was pretty hopeless in this country. There was a lot of downtrodden beliefs, and we were just surviving. We were in survival mode. By the time that we survived COVID, Donald Trump created an atmosphere the first time around, dumpster did, that people gave up. People quit in general, and we saw an ugliness in this country, and we saw suicide rates, accidental overdoses, which are basically suicides, spike at higher numbers than ever between veterans, queer people, and just people that are just done. But hey, that's we're up against our first break or two queers in the truck, and we'll be right back after this. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers in the Truck on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy ride. We are back. But one of the big issues, is and I speak about this a lot, is the cycles of abuse in trauma passed on from generation to generation. And we're going to have to figure out as a society how to break some of the cycles, both on the individual level but also as a societal level where we allow fascists to lie about their record and say, oh, I'm not a fascist. I'm compassionate conservatism, making America great again. Whatever bullshit rolls off the tip of their tongues, we got to go, no, It was shit times when you guys were in control. We got to quit letting them lie, and then you get us into wars. You make us a petro-based economy. There's we got to tell the story better, and progressives and liberals are afraid of doing that to the point to where we tiptoe around it till we have to fight again, and we have to be a FDR. Go, we have nothing to fear but fear itself. We have to become the hard charging people we can be, and then when it's over and we've defeated them, we let up, and we dissolve our little groups, and even like the Women's March pretty much went away the last 4 years. We've just watched it disappear, and I'm going, well, the struggle's not over.
Exactly.
We lost abortion during Biden, and a female vice president.
Mm-hmm.
It's not Biden's fault necessarily, but it is Democrats' fault. We didn't kind of get our shit together in 2016. We ended up with a failure of a human being in every way, a waste of $10.50 worth of chemicals, a mouth breather for president. That somehow we've got voting amnesia and let our misogyny once again kick in because we can't do better. And that's just the truth. A lot of reason why Harris and Clinton failed to win was pure deep misogyny and racism, and cowardly little men and stupid women that go, I'm going to vote for a man. And that's what it came down to. It didn't come down to policies. There's no way in any universe does that chuckle fuck dumpster, Donnie Dumpster, beat somebody. If Harris would have been a man, she would have won in a landslide. Should have been Obama Part 3. Mm-hmm. Should have won walking away. We all fucking know it. Could have been a black man with take the same resume, make the mirror of life. Steve Harris for president. She gets probably 90 million votes.
Mm-hmm.
But because she's feminine and pretty and a sweet, decent fucking human being with a fucking stellar resume, but because she's a woman and born with ovaries, not that you have to have ovaries to be a woman, but she got judged, not even judged, she got discriminated against because of her biology. The same people that are trying to protect from us scary trans women, because we're the real problem. We're such a problem to women, we want to look just like them. Yeah, that's scary. We want to imitate women, and that's what's going to harm women is if we imitate them. Like imitation is going to harm anybody. We're just going to be with the whole goal of being trans is to look as cis as possible for us. Not all trans people, but the goal is to look more aligned with your gender identity. How does that harm people? Because I want to know from anybody's perspective on, at the end of the day, that's what we're doing. We are biologically and surgically trying to correct and imitate the people that we mentally align with. And what's the difference between that and wanting to look like Pamela Anderson? But the hot 90s version, not the burnt out 2024 version now. But, well, I mean, some people's plastic surgery looks more like the current one. But the truth is, what is plastic surgery? Is how many people want to go in and have the perfect nose, but they'll bring in a celebrity that they think is beautiful and say, make me look like this. They go, I'm a plastic surgeon, not a miracle worker, but essentially it's the same thing. Oh, I saw this one girl and she was about my height and, she had the perfect boobs and I want to have the perfect boobs. Or I don't want to have the double chin. I want to look like Thor. I whatever it is that we think we want to be, it's usually imitating somebody or an influencer. But imitation is the highest form of flattery. When trans women try to look like cis women, we're literally giving you the most flattering compliment. We're saying, we want to be you. We identify as you. We were born that way. We were wired that way. And that's it. That's all we do. We don't want to replace you. We can't replace you. We're not going to, like, there's like a woman quota or a man quota for trans men. All of a sudden, regular cis men are going to cease to exist because there's trans men. Okay, that's stupid. And the numbers are pretty even between trans men and trans women. It's almost like a literal just swap. It's like a Freaky Friday body swap. Like it's not changing the demographics. It's not. There's not been enough anything. We pose no threat to society. But again, for some reason, Vice President Harris, the overqualified candidate, says a lot about our society and where we're really at versus where we thought we were at. We thought we were evolved, and we're still stuck in 1975 Archie Bunker world. We still have a disdain and hatred for women. In fact, some Republicans want to put women back into not being able to buy their own homes, not being able to divorce or leave a man. They're literally wanting to bring back, eliminate no-fault divorces. Because a lot of these guys couldn't hang on to a woman if the only way they can hang on to a woman and keep them in the servitude is take away their ability to financially conduct themselves. And if they created a means-tested divorce system like we used to have, you had to have proof of infidelity or irreconcilable differences. Now you just like, I just don't like you anymore. I'm done. Go down to the county courthouse, file, move out, boom, you're done. Easy peasy. You can do it anytime you want. But that's the way it should be. You should be able to leave somebody if it's gotten bad. And marriages get bad. It does happen. There's just sometimes you look up and go, if I got to look at you one more time, and these guys are trying to rig the game to take away every fundamental thing that we have now. And anybody that thinks differently is fooling themselves, because these people that are wanting to control this are incompetent. Look at Texas and look at Florida. They're burning down because Republican rule is incompetent. It's fascism, but fascism and incompetence go hand in hand because fascism is completely self-serving. There is nothing noble about fascism. It's a bunch of cowards, usually men, usually stupid men, that drive big pickup trucks and have very small equipment. Usually sit in a chair in the corner. Mm-hmm. And this is the truth. These people are usually impotent jerks. I mean, look at the muskrat and dumpster. How many wives they've gone through, how many kids they've fathered that the kids don't want anything to do with them. And both dumpster and muskrat, Sissy SpaceX, they're absolutely business failures. It's just that people keep investing in the muskrat. And for some odd reason, because he ruins every company he touches, I wouldn't give him a dime. The billions that people lost on Twitter. I'm talking about billions. There's 30, 40 billion that's just gone because they loan money. I'm like, he's the worst bet in America. The only way Twitter gets better is the moment he sells the company and divests. That's when Twitter will get better. It may be done. Nobody wants to advertise on it except idiots. There's not enough idiots in this country to keep Twitter afloat. She done. She's about to come to the redneck MySpace of the interwebs. People will just be playing music on it and porn. That'll be about it. It's going to be the incels that are watching porn and playing the redneck music, and that's going to be it. That's what MySpace turned into. It was just a little cult thing. They kept MySpace. I think MySpace didn't get archived till like 2018, but it wasn't a mass platform anymore or anything like that. It turned into a music depository or something like that. And audiophiles used MySpace up until maybe 2021. It's been real recent since MySpace went away.
Yeah.
But it lived on way past its popularity when Facebook and the Book of Face buried it and to obscurity, and the Android took over the world in the social media for a while, and it still kind of does. I mean, Meta does own some of the best. I mean, other than Threads, Threads kind of seems like it got caught fire for about a minute there. Then people were like, it isn't that good. It just wasn't that good of a product. They rolled it out too fast.
I agree.
And Instagram's awesome.
I mean, had Meta integrated Thread with Facebook like they have Instagram integrated with MySpace, so you can, Facebook, so you can post on MySpace and also post on Instagram. If they had allowed it to go to Thread too, it would have been a lot more successful.
Yeah. And we are up against our second break, and we'll be right back with some more Two Queers on Track. Hey, everybody, you can catch us on your favorite audio podcast platform, Spotify, and all Apple Store, the Google machine, and whoever else does podcasts. We're on there. We broke in, and we're staying. So enjoy the Two Queers on Track on your favorite audio podcast platform. Thanks for listening or watching. Bye, boo. Happy Pride. And I think that's gonna be the end of Twitter. I mean, Threads and Twitter for different reasons are probably going to evaporate. It looks like this blue sky thing is taking off. A lot of people jumped on it, at least progressives and decent people. The incels can stay on Twitter, and it's a wonder what they're going to do when they roach out all these platforms like Dumpsters, Little True Social, and the Twitter machine. When they roach all these out, because anything they take over, like 4chan, went away pretty much. Nobody uses 4chan now. It looks like when they take these over, anybody that was decent gets off the platform. Yeah, I've been on Twitter twice in a year. I used to be on it hourly.
Hey, Jen, you know what? I was reading an article about this because you're kind of on this topic. One of the great things that they're finding about Blue Sky is the monitoring and the ability for someone to stop people who troll them and things like that. And like the ability for like libs of TikTok not to post things that are copyrighted. Twitter is basically just a free for all now.
Yeah.
And it's so not good to see. People can only see so many car wrecks, and they're like, you know what? I'm kind of tired of seeing the car wrecks.
Yeah. Of course. It is that what made Twitter decent was there was a semblance of decency, and this is what it really killed Facebook too, to a certain extent, and why the younger people jumped off Facebook and moved on to other platforms, is that Facebook, Twitter, Threads. One of the issues with the if you look at Instagram and TikTok, for example, the reasons why, in the same way with the old thing called Vines, is they were primarily videos and photos with little commentary, with little discourse. Because really people younger just want to scroll videos, listen to stuff. They want to check out. They go on social media to check out, not check in. And for the most part, they maybe just want to see events like pub crawls or concerts or whatever. But that's why a lot of people keep Facebook, is just for a social counter. They don't engage. Very few people engage that are below 40 on Facebook.
Exactly.
Twitter's turned into the same thing. And the people that are below 40 are awful. They're just trash, or they're Russian bots or whatever. And it's almost like, when Republicans have really roached up a small town, it's to the point where you just there's nothing left. Republicans are like, infestation of insects. They just rip apart a place, which is most of Texas, and just turn it into a roach motel. And then nobody wants to live there. Anytime conservatives take off an area, there's nobody. There's just nothing fun about it anymore. There's nothing that's worth being around. I don't ever wake up anymore and go, gosh, I sure do miss San Antonio. Nope. Nope. Don't miss it. I got fond memories. I have some great memories. But at the end of the day, I'll never be aiming a U-Haul there unless I'm driving through. But I sure should. In the same way with a lot of those, but I think Twitter is like turned into that old neighborhood that people didn't keep fixing it up and fixing up the houses.
Yes.
Twitter is going the other direction, where things are burnt down, the weeds have grown up in most yards, cars are on blocks.
You know what Twitter's like, Jenny? Twitter is like grown up in Texas and living in West Texas, okay, which is between Fort Worth and Waco, I believe. But it's called West Texas. It's there's a check stop is there. And being in high school and saying, hey, let's go to Waco and party. Or no, let's go to Dallas. Maybe back in the day, going to Waco was okay, but it's no longer fun. Yeah. Now I want to go to Dallas. So I mean, I don't know if that's a good analogy, and if you don't understand Texas, you probably won't understand it, but I agree with you. It's like, why would maybe some older people would like to go down to Waco and go to the Dr. Pepper Museum or whatever. I don't know what the heck is there anymore, but
giant ball,
like the younger people.
Daniel Booth slept here in a tent. What a crazy tourist. Hey, tourist traps do amaze me, because I have worked and lived in tourist towns and cities, and tourists just get enamored by. You can call it old, and you can say it's historical in some way, and they want to look at it. And I'm like, why do you care about somebody else's history that much?
Do you think that's generational, Jen? Do you think that's something very unique to just boomers and some older Gen Xers? Because I don't know that.
I know younger people that are big into history.
Okay. I was curious.
City that she travels the world looking for specific queer history. Actually, she's a queer historian and a queer journalist. Actually, we had her on the show as my friend Laura Americo. We had her back on the show. That's right. A few months ago. And one of the things that she does she has about 19 different jobs and side hustles. So I never can quite remember what Laura tells me, not because she's dishonest. She just takes on all. She loves gigs. She loves the excitement and the fast pace.
She's got a lot of side hustles.
She does. I have to keep it on a spreadsheet to know what Laura is. She's kind of like, where in the world is Carmen Sandiego? But it's where's Laura Americo is. And I've made that joke with her. She thinks it's funny. But one of the things is, and she's relatively young, and it's one of these things. I know that to me, it's just kind of a weird cultural thing. I don't know. It's an observation after living in places like that and working near the Alamo and just seeing these people. I mean, this is no offense to Texas history, but the Alamo really is not impressive at all.
When people go, they're like, this is it.
And then you see some tourists after they come out, they're like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then you see the bullet holes, and this is where a bunch of people died for no reason. And but there's a bunch of people I see going up, and you'll hear this. That's it.
Yeah.
We walked 2 blocks over here to look at this. This is just an old building. Because it is. There's nothing.
I mean, the good news is they can just go get a margarita.
Yeah, they can go down to the marketplace and eat at
Exactly.
and get the goldfish
That's more interesting.
fresh. That's the best part of the trip. It's not looking at some old ass building that a bunch of people got shot up at, and a bunch of white people got pissed off. They were being stupid because they volunteered to die. And you think about Texas history and what we brag about, they could have escaped out the back. There's a back entrance to the Alamo.
You're right. You know why? You know why we know that?
Because people escape.
No, exactly. That's exactly. And they actually, yes, exactly. There were some people that they let leave. Yeah, exactly. They cut out the back, and they actually wanted some people so they could tell the history of it. And so
in their master stroke of the Alamo says a lot about Texas psychological makeup. Is that for almost 200 years? Because this happened in the 1830s, when coming up on the 2030s. We've bragged about this. and when you think about it, and I thought about this in school, I remember, I can't remember what grade, I think it's 5th grade, they make you memorize Texas history practically, because it's a Texas cult. But I remember sitting in Texas history, or maybe it was the 7th grade, whatever year they force feed this shit to you. These geniuses in the Alamo said, anybody want to cross this line and get out of here? And not a single one of those fools said, you know what? Santa Ana's got 2,000-3,000 people over there, and we got about 136. Maybe, just maybe, if we just sneak out the back, they ain't going to even notice. Just a few at a time. We keep shooting cannons to the very end. And the fucks, they don't realize that we're out of here until we're out of here. And we ride on to safety. It may catch a few of us, but they're probably just going to go, we got the Alamo, it's good. Because we're going to fall anyway. There's sooner or later, 2,000 or 3,000 against 136. It's not going to end well. And nobody's coming for us. Nobody's going to go into this death trap. We're in a death trap, but we can go out the back.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And we brag about remembering the Alamo. We should be taking a little redaction pens and going, no, we don't need to brag about that anymore. That was because you think it was stupid.
Yeah.
There was no reason for the rest of the Texas Army to be mad and say, remember the Alamo. They should be going, God, I hope nobody
Why didn't they get out the back?
Why didn't they use the back door?
Yeah,
the rest of
exactly. That's a good point. Yeah.
As brave as I am,
yeah,
I'm not stupid. I can do the math. I can lift heavy things and I can do math. And if I look over my little wall, my little protective wall, stick it out a little eyeball up against the peephole, and I go, I think I left my hall pass and my other smoking jacket back in Corpus Christi, and I'm going to leave right now. The rest of you fools can stay. I'm going to continue to breathe. And I would be shagging my happy queer little ass on down the road and be going, see y'all, and I will not remember the Alamo. You guys aren't brave. You're stupid. Because it was stupid.
Yeah. It was.
And the Alamo is a dump. The Alamo is a big lump of old-ass buildings. And it's an homage of white stupidity. Mm-hmm. Just like when they used to line up in the Revolutionary War and just shoot each other. And then if you turned around and ran, the back row shot you for desertion. I'm going, boy, who did they get to do that first? It wouldn't have been me. I'm going to be in the back bench. I'm going to be the last one. And when you guys all peel off and die, I just get to leave. But anyway, that's the end of this week's Two Queers in a Truck. And whatever you do, don't remember the Alamo. And happy Festivus for the rest of us.
Yes.
Everybody has a great week. And we will see you on the flip side. Bye, Boo.
Bye, Boo. That's right.
Hey, y'all, thanks for watching Two Queers in the Truck. We got a little silly at the end. But it's okay. We had a good time. I hope y'all did too. We'll see you next week, and thanks for listening as always. Happy Festivus.
Bye,
Bye, y'all. Bye, baby.